Welcome to Literary Journeys with River. Today we reach the final book of the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Remember, this is just a summary, not the full book, but it's designed so you can understand every secret, every sacrifice, and every decisive moment of the story. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, leave a comment telling us where you're listening from. This helps the video reach more people and grow the channel. Let's begin. Chapter 1. In the dark Malfoy Manor, Voldemort gathers his Death Eaters to plan the imminent capture of Harry Potter. Snape and Yaxley arrive with crucial information. The Order of the Phoenix will move Harry from his safe house on Saturday at dusk. Voldemort, with cold precision, analyzes the possibilities and decides he needs a wand other than his own to kill Harry, taking Lucius Malfoy's wand. Tensions rise as the Malfoys endure humiliation and Bellatrix displays obsessive devotion to the Dark Lord. The evening ends in horror when Voldemort brutally murders Charity Burbage, a Hogwarts professor, accusing her of defending Muggleborns. His snake Nagini devours her body while the others feign composure, hiding their fear. The scene concludes with Voldemort declaring that he, without mistake this time, will personally kill Harry Potter, sealing the meeting with an air of inevitable fate and forced obedience. Chapter 2. Harry cleans his room at Privet Drive while coping with the pain from a hand wound and the discovery of the broken fragment of the two-way mirror Sirius gave him. Amid memories and melancholy, he finds an obituary written by Elphia's Doge in honor of Dumbledore, revealing unknown aspects of his childhood, family tragedies, and magical career. As he reads, Harry feels disconnected from the past of the man he so admired, and a void grows from not having truly known him. The peace is shattered by a new article in the Daily Prophet, where Rita Skeeter promotes her sensationalist book about Dumbledore, promising scandalous revelations, from alleged ties to dark magic to his relationship with Grindelwald. Furious, Harry throws the newspaper against the wall, overcome by rage, disappointment, and deep doubts about how well he really knew his former mentor and guide. Chapter 3. The Dursleys prepare to leave Privet Drive under the protection of the Order of the Phoenix, despite Vernon's reluctance and his suspicion that it's all a ploy to take their house. Harry reminds them of the real danger they face due to their connection with him and the urgency of accepting help. When Daedalus Diggle and Hestia Jones arrive to escort them, an unexpected moment occurs. Dudley, usually hostile, thanks Harry for saving his life. Though awkward, the gesture moves and surprises Harry. Petunia, visibly affected, says nothing and leaves in silence, marking their final parting. Harry, filled with mixed emotions, accepts their definitive farewell. The usual tension between them fades for a moment, giving way to a separation defined more by silence than hatred, closing a long chapter of his life with a hint of reconciliation. Chapter 4. As night falls, the Order of the Phoenix arrives with a risky plan. 7 people will take Polyjuice Potion to assume Harry's appearance and confuse the Death Eaters during the transfer. Reluctantly, Harry agrees. He pairs with Hagrid and rides in the sidecar of Sirius's legendary motorbike. As they take off, they are ambushed by Death Eaters who had been tipped off. During the chaotic flight, Harry witnesses Hedwig's death, loses control of the sidecar, and faces multiple attacks. He disarms Stan Shunpike, inadvertently revealing his identity. Voldemort himself appears, flying without a broom. In a desperate duel, Harry's wand acts on its own, casting a golden spell that repels the Dark Lord. Though the motorbike crashes, they manage to land near their destination. The ferocity of the attack reveals that nowhere is safe and that Voldemort will stop at nothing to kill him. Chapter 5. Harry regains consciousness after the crash with Hagrid and realizes they've landed in Ted Tonk's garden. Though bruised, he's relieved to see Hagrid alive, though injured. The Tonks briefly care for them until the port key to the burrow is ready. Deeply affected by Hedwig's death, Harry returns with Hagrid to the Weasleys' home, where he finds that the others have yet to arrive. Slowly, members of the Order begin to appear, but George is gravely injured. He's lost an ear. Lupin, suspecting a betrayal, interrogates Harry. Hermione and Kingsley soon arrive, having narrowly escaped. Eventually, Ron and Tonks return, followed by Bill and Fleur, who bring the devastating news of Mad-Eye Moody's death. They all raise a toast to him, and Harry, overwhelmed with guilt, reaffirms his trust in the Order. Lupin and Bill leave to recover their fallen friend's body. Chapter 6. Harry is eager to begin the search for the Horcruxes immediately, but Ron convinces him to wait until his birthday, when the trace will no longer apply. Molly Weasley, suspicious of their plans, tries in vain to extract information by assigning them separate chores around the house. Meanwhile, Hermione begins organizing the books they might need for their mission. In a moment of calm, she reveals that she altered her parents' memories to protect them, making them believe they are a different couple who want to live in Australia. Ron shares his own plan. His ghoul, disguised and pretending to be sick, will serve as a cover to explain his absence. Touched by their determination, Harry realizes the true commitment of his friends. Though all are worried about the dangers ahead, they remain resolute in their loyalty and shared purpose. Chapter 7. On his 17th birthday, Harry finally experiences full magical freedom, though a disturbing vision of Voldemort leaves him unsettled. At the Burrow, the atmosphere is festive and chaotic with the arrival of the Delacours for Bill and Fleur's wedding. Ginny gives Harry a goodbye kiss in a private moment, but Ron interrupts them, sparking a tense confrontation. Later during dinner, Minister Scrimgeour makes a surprise appearance with Dumbledore's will. Harry receives the snitch from his first Quidditch match, Ron a Deluminator, and Hermione a book of magical fairy tales. The trio grows suspicious of the minister's intentions, sensing he is probing for hidden clues or magic in the bequests. Though nothing is confirmed, Harry suspects the snitch may play a deeper role. The meeting ends on an uneasy note, marked by distrust in the authorities and the looming weight of what lies ahead. Chapter 8. At 3 o'clock, Bill and Fleur's long-awaited wedding begins in a tent adorned with golden flowers and shining balloons. Harry, transformed by Polyjuice Potion into a red-haired muggle named Cousin Barney, attends incognito. The extravagantly dressed guests fill the celebration with joy. Luna Lovegood and her eccentric father, Xenophilius, stand out with their colorful attire. The arrival of Aunt Muriel, with her sharp tongue, causes tension, especially toward Hermione. Victor Crumb's presence stirs jealousy in Ron, while Harry learns that Xenophilius wears a symbol associated with Grindelwald. The ceremony is heartfelt, with Bill and Fleur surrounded by silver stars as they unite. During the reception, Harry speaks with Elphia's Doge about Dumbledore's past, but Aunt Muriel interjects with scathing accusations about Dumbledore's sister Ariana, hinting at dark secrets in the late headmaster's family history. Chapter 9. Kingsley's Patronus suddenly interrupts the wedding with an urgent warning. The ministry has fallen and Death Eaters are approaching. Harry, Ron, and Hermione flee amidst the chaos and apparate to busy Tottenham Court Road in the Muggle world. After changing clothes thanks to Hermione's enchanted bag, they enter a cafe where they're ambushed by Death Eaters Dolohov and Rowell. They manage to defeat them, and Hermione erases their memories. Seeking safety, they hide in Grimmauld Place, where Moody's protective enchantments subject them to illusions and curses. A ghostly image of Dumbledore accuses Harry before vanishing. The trio confirms the house is still secure and receives a Patronus message from Mr. Weasley assuring them the family is safe. Privately, Harry experiences a vision of Voldemort punishing Rowell and threatening Draco, and learns that the Dark Lord is searching for Wandmaker Gregorovitch, deepening the mystery of his true intentions. Chapter 10. Harry wakes early, preoccupied with thoughts of Dumbledore and the Horcruxes, and explores Sirius's old bedroom. He finds a letter from his mother mentioning Bathilda Bagshot and her connection to Dumbledore, stirring complex emotions. He also discovers the full name of Regulus Arcturus Black, matching the RAB initials on the fake locket. Investigating Regulus's room, they recall an unopenable locket found years before. They head to the kitchen and summon Creature. The elf reveals that Mundungus Fletcher stole Regulus's locket. He recounts how his former master learned Voldemort's secret and ordered him to help retrieve the Horcrux from the cave, sacrificing himself by drinking the deadly potion so Creature could replace the real locket with a fake one. The tale moves Hermione deeply and sheds light on Regulus's hidden bravery. Chapter 11. Harry, Ron, and Hermione remain in hiding at Grimmauld Place, anxiously awaiting news from Creature, who finally returns with Mundungus Fletcher after days of surveillance by Death Eaters. Meanwhile, Remus Lupin arrives to recount what happened after the disrupted wedding. The Ministry has fallen under Voldemort's control, with Pius Thickness installed as a puppet minister. Through the Daily Prophet, Harry learns that he is wanted for Dumbledore's death and that a systematic persecution of Muggleborns has begun through a new Muggleborn Registration Commission. Lupin offers to join the mission, but suggests leaving behind Tonks and their unborn child, prompting a fierce argument with Harry, who accuses him of cowardice. Hurt, Lupin storms out. In the end, Creature appears with Mundungus, who reveals that he sold Slytherin's locket to a short witch from the Ministry with a bow and toad-like face, identified as Dolores Umbridge. Chapter 12. As September begins, Harry, Ron, and Hermione set their plan in motion to infiltrate the Ministry of Magic and recover the locket from Umbridge. Using Polyjuice Potion and clever tactics to obtain hair samples, they impersonate Ministry employees. Hermione becomes Mafalda Hopkirk, Ron is Reg Cattermole, and Harry assumes the identity of Runcorn. They enter the Ministry through toilet entrances and find an oppressive atrium dominated by a statue symbolizing magical supremacy over Muggles. Ron is directly threatened when Yaxley orders him to fix his flooded office, reminding him that his wife is due for a blood status hearing. With Ron separated, Harry and Hermione continue the mission alone. Harry experiences another vision of Voldemort murdering a woman in his pursuit of Wandmaker Gregorovitch. The tension rises as the trio delves deeper into the enemy's stronghold. Chapter 13. While infiltrating the Ministry, each member of the trio plays their role under the influence of Polyjuice Potion. Disguised as Mafalda Hopkirk, Hermione is dragged by Umbridge into a courtroom where Muggleborns are being interrogated. Harry, as Runcorn, explores the Ministry in search of the locket. He finds Umbridge's office filled with sickly sweet decorations and magical surveillance, including Mad Eye's magical eye. Though he doesn't find the Horcrux, he uncovers compromising documents about Arthur Weasley. In the courtroom, Umbridge cruelly accuses Mary Cattermole until Harry intervenes, attacking her and Yaxley. Hermione retrieves the locket from around Umbridge's neck after faking its replacement. Together, they use patron uses to drive away Dementors and free Mary. They manage to evacuate the other prisoners just before their cover is blown, escaping through the Ministry's fireplaces under intense pressure. Chapter 14. After fleeing the Ministry, the trio apparates to an unfamiliar forest. Ron is severely injured during the escape, and Hermione uses Dittany Essence to partially heal his splinched arm. They realize they can no longer return to Grimmauld Place because Yaxley apparat with them, breaking the Fidelius charm. Despair sets in, without shelter or food, and with Ron wounded, they are forced to camp in the wilderness under protective enchantments. Harry buries Mad Eye's eye as a sign of respect, While keeping watch, he dreams of Voldemort, who has captured Gregorovitch in his search for a mysterious object stolen long ago. In the vision, a young thief escapes through a window with a spell and flees laughing. Voldemort seeks him, but Gregorovitch doesn't know who he is. When Harry awakens, he is haunted by his ignorance about destroying the Horcrux and the increasing pain of his scar, while the mystery of the thief begins to consume him. Chapter 15. Harry buries Mad-Eye's eye in the forest as a final tribute before the trio decides not to stay in one place too long. As Hermione casts protective enchantments and Harry searches for food, he finds himself unable to conjure his Patronus due to the Horcruxes' negative influence. They begin taking turns wearing it and realize that it makes the wearer irritable. Ron, deeply affected by the Horcrux and the hunger, grows increasingly short-tempered and withdrawn. One night, they overhear a conversation among magical fugitives near their campsite. Among them are Ted Tonks, Dean Thomas, Dirk Cresswell, and goblins Griphook and Gornick. They reveal that the Gryffindor sword in Gringotts is a fake and that the real one was used by Dumbledore to destroy a Horcrux. Through Phineas Nigelus's portrait, the trio confirms that Dumbledore removed the sword before his death. Despite the breakthrough, Ron, overwhelmed by frustration and resentment, argues with Harry and storms off in anger, leaving the tent and his friends behind. Chapter 16. Harry wakes up facing the stark reality of Ron's absence, the empty bed a painful reminder. He and Hermione break camp in silence, hoping in vain that Ron might return. As they wander aimlessly through England searching for possible hiding places for the Sword of Gryffindor, their theories become increasingly far-fetched and frustrating. Phineas Nigelus's portrait offers limited information from Hogwarts but confirms that Ginny, Neville, and Luna are leading a resistance against Snape. A rare good dinner prompts Harry to suggest a visit to Godric's Hollow, and to his surprise, Hermione agrees. They plan their trip carefully using Polyjuice Potion and the invisibility cloak. Upon arriving in the snow-covered, peaceful village, Harry is overcome with emotion at seeing a secret monument to his family, sensing he's about to reconnect with his lost history. Chapter 17. After visiting his parents' graves, Harry and Hermione notice a suspicious figure watching them. Hidden beneath the invisibility cloak, they follow it to a dilapidated house and realize it is Bathilda Bagshot. She silently gestures for Harry to come alone, and despite Hermione's hesitation, he complies, filled with hope. Inside, the strange old woman leads him upstairs, where she suddenly transforms in a horrifying twist. Nagini bursts from her corpse. The snake attacks Harry viciously, and he barely survives. Hermione arrives just in time, and they escape as Voldemort enters. Fleeing through a shattered window, they narrowly survive. Harry falls unconscious, trapped in a vision of his parents' murder from Voldemort's perspective, reliving each moment of that terrible night with excruciating clarity that leaves him physically and emotionally wrecked. Chapter 18. At dawn in the tent, Harry wakes sick and weak after the attack in Godric's Hollow. Hermione has been caring for him anxiously. Discovering that his wand is broken beyond repair, Harry feels more vulnerable than ever. Racked with frustration, guilt, and anger, he falls into painful introspection. Hermione shows him Rita Skeeter's book, taken from Bathilda's house, revealing the dark history of Dumbledore's youth and his bond with Grindelwald. Letters from young Albus expose his belief in the domination of Muggles for the greater good, shocking Harry. The revelation that Ariana died during this period adds guilt and mystery to Dumbledore's past. Disillusioned, Harry feels his world unraveling. He has lost Ron, his wand, and his faith in Dumbledore. Though Hermione tries to comfort him, he feels betrayed and confused by the man he once idolized. Chapter 19. Harry has a disturbing dream of Nagini in strange forms, and upon waking, senses mysterious sounds and presences. He and Hermione move their camp to the snowy forest of Dean. One night, Harry sees a glowing silver doe that leads him to a frozen pond where the sword of Gryffindor lies submerged. As he dives in, the Horcrux around his neck tries to strangle him. Ron unexpectedly appears and saves him from drowning. Grateful, Harry insists Ron destroy the Horcrux. When he opens it, the locket reveals haunting visions of Ron's deepest fears, but Ron overcomes them and shatters the Horcrux with the sword. Back at the tent, Hermione furiously confronts Ron for abandoning them. Ron explains his journey since leaving, revealing that Dumbledore's Deluminator helped him find his way back. Chapter 20. After a tense reconciliation with Ron, Hermione suggests visiting Xenophilius Lovegood to uncover the meaning of the symbol found in Dumbledore's Book of Tales. They suspect it holds great importance, having seen it also on a tombstone in Godric's Hollow and in a letter to Grindelwald. Upon arriving at the Lovegoods' eccentric home, Xenophilius greets them nervously, claiming Luna is out fishing nearby. His behavior is odd and anxious. The house is filled with strange items, including a dangerous horn that Hermione identifies as an Erumpent horn. Though he tries to be hospitable, his unease is obvious. Confronted about the symbol, he reveals it as the emblem of the Deathly Hallows. Meanwhile, Harry reflects on Ginny's closeness back at the Burrow, unaware that the reunion with Luna and the truth behind the mysterious mark are about to alter his path forever. Chapter 21. Harry, Ron, and Hermione visit Xenophilius Lovegood, seeking answers about the mysterious symbol found on Ignotus Peveril's grave. Lovegood tells them about the legendary Deathly Hallows, 3 objects that together grant mastery over death: the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak. To illustrate, Hermione reads The Tale of the 3 Brothers, where death rewards 3 brothers with those artifacts. While debating their authenticity, Harry begins to suspect that his cloak may be the one from the legend. Suspicion rises when they realize Luna is not home, and they discover she has been taken by the Ministry. In desperation, Xenophilius tries to betray them to the Death Eaters in exchange for his daughter. In the ensuing chaos, an explosion occurs, and the trio escapes thanks to Hermione's quick thinking, leaving behind a ruined house and a father broken by despair. Chapter 22. After escaping the Lovegood home, Harry, Ron, and Hermione pitch their tent under tight magical protection. Despite the danger, Harry is fixated on the Deathly Hallows and becomes convinced his cloak is one of them. He also believes Dumbledore was guiding him toward this realization. Though Ron and Hermione urge him to focus on destroying Horcruxes, Harry grows obsessed with the idea of uniting the Hallows to defeat Voldemort. Through an underground radio broadcast called Potterwatch, they learn critical updates: recent deaths, news of the Resistance, and Xenophilius's arrest. They also hear that Voldemort may be seeking the Elder Wand, unaware of its full power. Tension peaks when Harry says Voldemort's name aloud, unknowingly breaking their magical protections. An enemy group locates them and launches an ambush before they can escape. Chapter 23. After Harry accidentally speaks Voldemort's name, the trio is captured by Snatchers and taken to Malfoy Manor. Hermione uses a spell to disfigure Harry's face, but Greyback suspects the truth and presents them to Lucius and Narcissa, who are unsure of their identities. Bellatrix appears and panics at the sight of Gryffindor's sword, fearing they've breached her vault at Gringotts. She tortures Hermione to extract information, while the others are imprisoned in the cellar, where they reunite with Luna, Dean, Griphook, and Ollivander. With Dobby's help, they free the prisoners and confront the Malfoys. At the climax, Dobby courageously intervenes, enabling Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Griphook to escape. But as they disapparate, Bellatrix throws a knife that fatally wounds Dobby, who dies in Harry's arms after saving them all. Chapter 24. Devastated by Dobby's death, Harry buries him by hand, refusing to use magic to honor the elf's bravery. While digging, he reflects on Voldemort, the Horcruxes, and the Deathly Hallows, successfully blocking his mind from the Dark Lord. After the burial, Harry speaks with Griphook and asks for help breaking into Gringotts, convinced there's a Horcrux in the Lestrange vault. Griphook is skeptical but promises to consider it. Harry then questions Ollivander, who confirms the Elder Wand's existence and Voldemort's desire to possess it for ultimate power. He explains the wand changes allegiance if taken from its owner. Harry deduces that Dumbledore was its last master and that Voldemort must have stolen it from his tomb. A vision confirms his fear. Voldemort has desecrated Dumbledore's grave and now holds the Elder Wand, unleashing a terrifying new power. Chapter 25. At the remote, windswept Shell Cottage, home of Bill and Fleur, Harry, Ron, and Hermione find a brief respite after fleeing Malfoy Manor. Though the surroundings are peaceful, Harry struggles with guilt and doubt for allowing Voldemort to claim the Elder Wand. Conversations with Ron and Hermione about the Hallows and Dumbledore's intentions reveal ongoing uncertainty and unease. A meeting with Griphook changes their course. The Goblin agrees to help them infiltrate the Lestrange vault in exchange for the Sword of Gryffindor. The moral dilemma divides the trio, but Harry offers his word without stating when he'll hand over the sword. As they begin planning the heist, tension lingers due to the Goblin's presence. News of the birth of Tonks and Lupin's son, Teddy, briefly lifts their spirits, and Harry agrees to be the child's godfather. Chapter 26. The plan to infiltrate Gringotts progresses. Hermione takes on Bellatrix's appearance using Polyjuice Potion. Ron disguises himself as a foreign wizard, and Harry hides with Griphook under the invisibility cloak. In Diagon Alley, they are intercepted by Death Eater Travers, who joins them on the way to the bank. Despite suspicions, Harry manages to control the situation using the Imperius Curse. Inside, they reach the Lestrange vault by deceiving the goblins. The vault is filled with magical traps. Objects multiply and burn when touched. They find Hufflepuff's cup, a Horcrux, but Griphook betrays them, seizes the sword, and raises the alarm. Surrounded, Harry releases the guard dragon, and they escape riding its back. Despite injuries and losing the sword, they successfully retrieve another Horcrux. Their desperate flight ends with the dragon soaring over London, leaving Gringotts in ruins. Chapter 27. After surviving their escape on the dragon's back, Harry, Ron, and Hermione jump into a lake to avoid detection. Exhausted and wounded, they hide on the shore, where Harry casts protective spells and assesses the impact of their heist. When Harry touches Hufflepuff's cup, his scar burns. He sees Voldemort discovering the theft and murdering witnesses. Enraged, Voldemort decides to check all his Horcrux hiding places, starting with the Gaunt Shack. Harry realizes that one Horcrux is hidden at Hogwarts and they must arrive before Voldemort does. Though tired and without a clear plan, they decide to apparate to Hogsmeade, hoping to find a way into the castle. The chapter ends with renewed urgency. They must act quickly before Voldemort secures his final defenses. Chapter 28. Arriving in Hogsmeade triggers a magical alarm, alerting Death Eaters. Hidden under the invisibility cloak, the trio escapes down an alley but is pursued by Death Eaters and Dementors. Harry casts a Stag Patronus to drive off the Dementors, revealing his presence. At that moment, a stranger rescues them and hides them in the Hog's Head pub, revealing himself as Aberforth Dumbledore, Albus's brother. Inside, Harry notices a shard of the mirror Sirius once gave him. Aberforth confirms he sent Dobby to rescue them and shares the tragic story of his sister Ariana, exposing deep family tensions. Despite Aberforth's warnings, Harry insists on entering Hogwarts. Aberforth agrees and opens a path through a magical portrait of Ariana, through which Neville appears. Chapter 29. Neville Longbottom, injured and ragged, guides Harry, Ron, and Hermione through a secret passage to the Room of Requirement, now serving as a refuge for Dumbledore's army. They reunite with former classmates resisting the Carrow's cruel punishments and dark arts teachings. Neville tells how he became a target after openly defying the regime, and how his grandmother defeated Dawlish when he was threatened. Using enchanted galleons, the group calls more allies. Luna, Dean, Ginny, and the Weasley twins arrive. Though Harry keeps their mission secret, he accepts help in finding an object tied to Rowena Ravenclaw. Luna mentions the lost diadem, associated with wisdom, and offers to show him a statue in the Ravenclaw common room. Urged by his burning scar, Harry agrees and leaves with her. Chapter 30. While Harry examines the Ravenclaw statue, Alecto Carrow ambushes him and alerts Voldemort by touching the dark mark. Luna stuns her and wakes the students. Amicus arrives angrily, but McGonagall intervenes, refusing to let him blame the students. When he spits on her, Harry reveals himself and casts the Cruciatus Curse. McGonagall binds the Carrows and pledges to defend the school, revealing her loyalty to Dumbledore. As they gather the other professors, they find Snape, who flees when confronted. McGonagall animates statues for battle and begins evacuating younger students. Harry and Luna return to the Room of Requirement, now filled with Order members and allies. Percy reconciles with his family, and Ginny is told to stay behind. Harry learns Ron and Hermione have gone to the bathrooms. Meanwhile, Voldemort nears the castle. Chapter 31. Under a starry sky in the Great Hall, McGonagall organizes the evacuation while the Order of the Phoenix and teachers prepare magical defenses. As Harry searches for Ron and Hermione, Voldemort's voice echoes, demanding Harry's surrender by midnight. When Pansy Parkinson points him out, students from Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw rise to defend him. Harry slips away and, guided by nearly headless Nick, finds the Grey Lady. Helena Ravenclaw confesses to stealing her mother's diadem and hiding it in Albania, where she was killed by the Bloody Baron. Harry deduces that Voldemort retrieved and re-hid it at Hogwarts. He recalls the Room of Requirement as the likely hiding place. Reunited with Ron and Hermione, who have just destroyed another Horcrux, they rush off to find the next, as the castle descends into war. Chapter 32. Fred is dead. Amidst ruins and horror, Harry, Ron, and Hermione flee with Percy through halls filled with grief and chaos. Creatures from the forest, like Aragog's spiders and giants, join the battle, and in the gardens, Dementors advance, paralyzing defenders with fear. Luna, Ernie, and Seamus save the trio with their patron uses. Voldemort, hidden in the Shrieking Shack with Nagini encased in a magical sphere, summons Snape. Under the invisibility cloak, Harry witnesses Voldemort killing Snape, believing the Elder Wand will only obey the one who kills its previous master. As he dies, Snape gives Harry his memories, asking him to look into his eyes. The trio escapes back into the castle, where the battle rages on. Voldemort awaits Harry for their final confrontation, convinced the wand now truly belongs to him. Chapter 33. Shattered, Harry gathers Snape's final thoughts just as Voldemort's voice echoes through Hogwarts. He grants 1 hour to bury the dead and demands Harry surrender in the Forbidden Forest. Ron and Hermione beg him to ignore it, but Harry is in shock. Wandering the wounded castle, he sees Fred, Lupin, and Tonks lying in the Great Hall. Unable to face the pain, he flees to the headmaster's office and pours Snape's memories into the pensieve. He sees key moments of Snape's childhood, his love for Lily Evans and Petunia's rejection. He witnesses Snape's enduring protection of Lily, how grief turned him into a spy, and his agreement to kill Dumbledore to protect Draco. Then comes the truth. Harry is a Horcrux. To destroy Voldemort, Harry must die by Voldemort's hand. Chapter 34. In the empty office, Harry processes the full weight of the truth. He must die so Voldemort can be defeated. Though his body resists, his resolve is unshakable. He leaves without goodbyes, silently crossing the castle like a ghost. Under the cloak, he encounters Neville and entrusts him with killing Nagini if the chance arises. Passing by Ginny tending to the wounded, he longs to stay but doesn't stop. In the Forbidden Forest, he opens the snitch, revealing the Resurrection Stone. Turning it thrice, his parents, Sirius and Lupin appear, walking with him to the end. At the clearing, Voldemort and his Death Eaters await, with Hagrid tied up. Harry removes the cloak, pockets his wand, and walks forward with his head held high. Thinking of Ginny, he only wishes for it all to end quickly. Chapter 35. Harry awakens in a white, misty place, unsure if he's alive or dead. His body is whole, uninjured, and he dons a robe that appears by magic. The space resembles an idealized King's Cross station. Nearby, a mutilated creature whimpers in pain, and then Dumbledore appears, calm and whole. He explains that the fragment of Voldemort's soul in Harry was destroyed when Harry offered himself to die. Because of Lily's blood in Voldemort, Harry remains tied to life. They discuss the Deathly Hallows, Dumbledore's past with Grindelwald, and the sorrow over Ariana's death. In the end, Dumbledore confirms Harry is the true master of death and gives him the choice to return. Chapter 36. Harry awakens in the forest, wounded but alive, and pretends to be dead as Voldemort recovers from the curse backlash. Narcissa Malfoy, checking his pulse, secretly asks about Draco. When Harry says he's alive, she lies and declares Harry dead. Hagrid carries him back to the castle, where Voldemort announces Harry's death and demands surrender. But Neville defies him and kills Nagini with the sword of Gryffindor. As battle resumes, Harry vanishes under the cloak and fights. Molly Weasley duels Bellatrix and defeats her. Finally, Harry reveals himself and faces Voldemort. He explains the Elder Wand never truly belonged to Voldemort. It was loyal to Draco and now to Harry. Voldemort casts Avada Kedavra, but the wand turns against him. The curse rebounds, killing him. The war ends. Hogwarts celebrates with tears and embraces. Epilogue. On a crisp September morning, Harry, Ginny, and their children head to King's Cross Station. Lily, the youngest, cries because she can't attend Hogwarts yet, while James teases Albus about possibly being sorted into Slytherin. On platform 9 3/4, they meet Ron, Hermione, and their children. Ron jokes with Rose about house placements and subtly points out Draco Malfoy, also saying goodbye to his son, Scorpius. James reappears excitedly, claiming he saw Teddy Lupin kissing Victoire, prompting laughter. With warmth, Ginny and Harry offer advice to Albus, who nervously admits his fear of being placed in Slytherin. Harry reassures him that the Sorting Hat considers one's choice. As the train departs in a cloud of steam and farewells, Harry watches his son go, comforted by the knowledge that all is well. And that brings us to the end of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, a story where everything converges. Destiny, sacrifice, and truth. We've seen how every choice leads to a single outcome, where death itself becomes a decision rather than an end. The war is over, but the cost was immense. Thank you for joining this journey through the final chapter of the saga. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with other fans. Now tell me in the comments, do you think Harry made the right choice by sacrificing himself? Or was there another way? Which moment of the Battle of Hogwarts impacted you the most?